Hey people, welcome to the Run Testers and to our review of the new Brooks Glycerin Max 2. This is the follow-up to the big stack, big cushion, big comfort daily trainer that joined Brooks ranks last year. The Max 2 returns with the same DNA-tuned foam in the midsole, but you've got a new sculpted midsole shaping that is now shooting for more softness and a tweaked upper design built around a new last that is aiming to improve the fit and comfort. I've been busy putting in the test miles to see how all of that quite literally stacks up. So let's get into it in my Brooks Glycerin Max 2 review. Some quick details then, and the stack stays the same with 45mm in the heel, 39mm in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. It weighs in at 11.6 ounces or 328 grams in my UK men's 8.5, US 9.5 test shoe. That is heavier than the last gen by quite a chunk actually. On price, it lands at $180 in the UK. I didn't have a confirmed US price at the time of recording, but the max was $200, so it will be around that mark. Let's give you a quick shoe whip round then, starting with the midsole. And the Glycerin Max 2 sticks with the nitrogen-infused DNA-tuned foam. That kind of foam formula in this shoe remains unchanged. What you essentially got is larger cells in the heel for more cushioned landings, and then you've got these smaller cells under the forefoot that are there to deliver a bit more responsiveness in the toe-off. There is an update to the shape with a new sculpted midsole design and some vertical lines etched in here along the lateral and medial sides. Those are there to encourage a smoother transitions apparently. You've still got a pronounced glide roll rocker with quite a steep upsweep at the toe. Then up top you've got quite thick uppers. These are very sort of dense, very sort of thick with plenty of plush details that are designed to boost the comfort. You've got big padded heel collars, you've got fat padded tongues. Even the laces here are thick and soft and plush. This is one that screams kind of long mile comfort. Brooks has also updated the last for this shoe for this second generation in the bid to kind of mirror the Glycerin fit. So this is now supposed to be snugger at the midfoot with more space in the forefoot, but more on that later in the fit section. When you flip them over, you've got a pretty generous covering of rubber. That's putting some thick protection in all the key impact areas. You can see there's like a couple mils of thick rubber here all over the shoe and in the heels as well, so durability should be solid. So in testing, I've done around 20 miles in the Brooks Glycerin Max 2. Most of those have been slow and easy in terms of the pace, sort of recovery style miles for me, but I have ramped up the pace and thrown in a few up-tempo miles just to see what happens when you take this big stack beast a little bit faster, ask for a bit more out of the shoe. Now, as usual, most of that has been on the road with a couple of light off-road pars thrown in. It has been wet at times here in London, so I've had a good chance to test the grip, although I wasn't really running speedily round corners. It was mainly in a straight line. Now, I was a fan of the last gen Glycerin Max, even though I didn't expect to be. I don't tend to normally like this sort of huge, bigger stacked shoes. And I think what you're getting here is largely more of the same in terms of the runs that it can cater for. It doesn't feel like a major upgrade, but I do think the ride has changed. You've still got good, great sort of easy comfort. The step-in feel is still strong from the roomy uppers. It's all still plush and cozy and built for cruising low and slow. I do feel like the fit is a bit more dialed in, a bit tighter, and it has gained some weight. And while the original Max ran lighter than it looked in terms of the big stack, I think this one is now noticeably heavier, and that does make a difference. Moving on to the midsole ride, and to me the platform for this definitely feels firmer. I know that Brooks said they've tweaked it to make it softer, but to me it's firmer than the Glycerin Max. I did a little bit of side by side, and it does feel a little bit sort of more resilient. It isn't as sinky as some cushioned shoes. There's still a bit of snap coming back from the forefoot. The foam isn't as compressive as some of those big stack sort of daily cushion shoes you're going to get, and you can really feel the rocker rolling you through in this shoe. But I quite like the immediacy of it all in some ways. You're going to get road-taming cushion without any of the kind of laboured squish that can impact some bigger cushion shoes. But at the same time, you know, you can't expect this to be big and bouncy. It isn't. I don't think the first one was. This one still perhaps isn't delivering that kind of really springy energy of some of the rivals that some people like. I'm personally not sure I need that in my kind of lower and slower mileage. I'm happy with a little bit less life in the midsole as long as there's ample cushion. And that said, I think the DNA-tuned foam isn't completely devoid of a bit of spring. It does give something back to help make the easy miles feel a touch more effortless. But yeah, it's not going to bound you along the road, and it is definitely sort of duller than shoes like a Mega Blast or a Nova Blast. I was testing this shoe on really very tired legs pretty soon after running a 250 PB in Dublin, so I needed cushion, but I didn't want to have to work for that cushion, sort of try and drag myself out of a sinky shoe. And the Ghost Max 2 isn't that shoe. It is coming back really quickly, so it avoids that sort of laboured feel. I also find the wide platform here pretty reliable and stable. It's not unsurprising for a Brooks shoe. It's good for such a high volume shoe on that front. It's kind of consistent and not wobbly, and there is a happy protection to it. As I said, the grip was also good, although I wasn't flying around any corners, but it did handle the wet London streets well. And on durability, this looks like a shoe that's well built to last and made for high mileage, particularly when you've got to see what's happening with those outsoles. I mean, I haven't done big mileage in them yet, obviously, but from 20 miles, you could clean this up and go back, put it back in the box, and it would look brand new. Verdict then, and if you like the original Glycerin Max, I think you will still enjoy this. It will certainly handle largely the same kinds of runs. The Glycerin Max was a good easy mile shoe, and that is still true here. Though for me, it's now definitely coming up firmer, and I think fans of shoes that are softer might miss the softer edge that came with the Glycerin Max. I actually prefer the ride of the original shoe to this one, and I'm not convinced that these updates have improved the shoe. I think they have changed the ride. They've made it, to me, a little bit firmer, a little bit snappier. But if you're looking for maximum cushioning, comfort and recovery mile stability, I think the Max 2 still delivers that. It's not the most cushioned shoe out there. There's more softness to be had in other shoes. I think it's limited in terms of its versatility. It's definitely now too heavy and too much shoe to want to use for any faster miles. You know, could you 12-minute mile it around a marathon course in comfort? Absolutely. And I might even stick it in a drop bag for, you know, some miles on a 100-mile ultra. It's got that kind of easy cruising. You know, if I had 30 miles to go and I came to this shoe where I just wanted protection and comfort, it would do a great job. But largely this is a shoe definitely that I would keep for my easy days. Now, at around $200 or £180, it's pricey, and you will still need to be a fan of Mega Stack shoes to get on with it. But I'd definitely say it's kind of in the mix along shoes like... But I definitely say it's in the mix alongside shoes like the New Balance More V6, the Hoka Bondi, the Vomero Premium, and the Asics Super Blast as a sort of stronger, higher cushion option. I definitely like a little bit more versatility for that price though. Something like the Vomero 18 jumps out to me because it offers just that. It's kind of great for easy runs, but it can cope better up through the gears, whereas I don't think this one can. Quick word on fit then. You can see here I have got the Brooks Glycerin Max original on the left foot. I've got the new Glycerin Max 2 on the right foot. Both of these are a UK 8.5, US 9.5. That would be my regular running shoe size in Brooks. It's what I've tested in both of these shoes as well. One of the big differences, the reason I'm showing you the fit of both of these is because that's one of the things that's changed. The last has changed, an updated last in the Brooks Glycerin Max 2, which follows more closely to the other existing kind of glycerin lasts. Now, what that changes in the fit, I think, you've still got a really kind of roomy toe box. So you've plenty of length for the Glycerin Max, and you've still got lots of length here for the toes in the Glycerin Max 2. It's a really kind of roomy toe box. There's plenty of wiggle room as well. The uppers sit away from the top of the toes, which is great for a long haul shoe. The one major difference that I can feel when I put these on is that this Glycerin Max 2 now, it feels a bit straighter. It's a bit more kind of narrow, and that means I'm a little bit more aware of my little toe here, the uppers, than I was in the original Glycerin Max, which felt nice and roomy. And to be honest, although Brooks has responded to some criticism for the first gen, I actually prefer the fit of the first gen. This one doesn't feel quite as instantly as comfortable on the foot. Moving back up into the lacing, and you've still got big padded tongues. The tongue comes up a little bit higher here on the Brooks Glycerin Max 2. It's all nice and soft though. Big fat laces stay the same. I got good midfoot lockdown in this shoe and in the old Glycerin Max. No problems there. Back into the heel collars, and there's still like big, ample, plush heel collar padding. Now that is pretty similar to what you had on the original shoe. I personally didn't have any trouble with slipping in the heels. I got a good dialed in fit in the old shoe, and that is the same in the new shoe as well. And when we're talking about kind of fit, I do feel like it's an easier fit in the old Glycerin Max. This one just doesn't quite feel as comfortable just at the back of the toes and into that little toe section, but they are still nice and roomy. And overall, I would recommend going true to size in the new Brooks Glycerin Max 2. So there you have it. That's been our review of the new Brooks Glycerin Max 2. Hope you found it useful. If you're after max stack comfort, I'm going to pop a video up on the channel that you need to check out. Go and watch that one. Otherwise, thank you very much for stopping by, and until next time, happy running, people.